Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today we've got the Paranormal stuff pack that's just come out. We're going to be using this to create our little cottage. So this little cottage is something that was given down to our little babe Tiffany Crystal, who was created. This is going to be further along the line, but basically I couldn't wait to do this build. We got the Paranormal pack and I was like, let's go for it. So first of all, I'd got a bit of a weird terrain anyway from a previous build, and I just thought, let's go with it. So I deleted the build, kept the terrain, and was just like, let's go for it. As I say, I wanted something cottagey, a little bit witchy, magical, pretty. And I do think I achieved that. The one thing I do struggle with though with builds is I overbuild. So sometimes I make it too big and it's more of a build than a play. So I try to keep it small, but that doesn't always happen. So I do go a bit OTT, but oh well. I enjoyed myself and that's all that matters, right? So because this was a little bit sunken, I had to put some stairs, but one of my favourite parts was sort of like the entrance to the house in the end of the build, so I was quite happy with that. The roof, I wasn't sure whether to do a more pointy roof or a more rounded roof. And then with the shape, I was like, do I need to break this up? The walls, I was like, oh, I want to build a cottage. Is it going to be big enough? And I ended up looking at it like, oh, this looks all wrong. Let's get rid of that. I thought instead of adding more to it, add character to what I've got. So I wanted to add a little balcony and just sort of see where my creativity would take me. So we ended up with this like weird shape that I ended up absolutely loving. It looks like a rocket ship. So at the front I added a balcony that you could actually get onto. And then at the back I added two mini balconies that are more like a Juliet balcony that you can't actually get onto, it just adds more character. But I ended up really liking the whole build. As I say, one of my favourites that I've done. Again, looking for that cottagey stonage. And I thought the blue in the stone looked really nice with like the thatched roof. That was a little bit more blue. I used those new platforms. I'm not entirely sure how to use them properly, but they looked like it looked really nice at the front. It just sort of like, I feel like sometimes at the front of a build, when it's a bit lower like that, it's just sort of like it goes from like beautiful stairs to just dirt. So the platform was good for that. As I say, I don't know how you use them, and I have not play tested this yet, but I'm sure it'll be fine. It can't be that hard. Obviously with an overhang you have to have something to support it, so we had to put a few of them spindles in there, a few columns, and just, do you know, I think for the majority of the builds, I must say, I think I'll play with the roof for longer than the rest of the build. The roofs is something that well, the struggle is real. Let's just say that. So all I wanted to do was just add more character. So these like at the top, I don't even know what they're called, you know. but they support the column, and I thought, oh, it just makes it look a little bit more finished, a little bit more realistic. There's a little bit more character, and overall ties your build together. So I added those. And then this is where I started to think, actually, yeah, I like this build. Let's go for it. So I put a lovely big bay window on the back. This is one of my favourites, and I'm sure it's from the university pack. Oh, I absolutely love it. But with it being cottagey, I didn't want loads of big windows. So I applied like the one big window, and then I was messing about with the doors, with the colours. What should I do? Shall I put a window or a door in the back balconies? And I just thought, you're never going to go onto them, are you? For what reason would you go on a tiny balcony like that? You wouldn't. So in the end, I think I chose to use the stained glass windows instead. I thought it added kind of obviously more character to it. It looked a bit more magical, mystical, without it being in your face, and maybe a little bit more realistic. And they worked really well. I just used some like little windows with that just to sort of break it up a little bit, because you can't have all stained glass windows because it kind of looks a bit weird. And with the little window, it kind of looks like it's supposed to be there. With it being sunken into the ground, it just adds a little bit more light. Because obviously when you build lower, you do lose light within these builds. And I hate playing in a dark house. It's the worst. So just sort of thought, let's play around with the plantage, break up some of those corners, make it look a little bit more rustic, wild garden. I always used to have trouble, and this sounds really ridiculous, I always used to have trouble with getting the grass the right colour, and then I realised you have to rub it out. And I was always trying to like put on rather than rub out, you know. Ugh, silly. I wanted to enhance that curve around the back, so we've got that like raised platform. So I worked on that for a little bit. Just sort of outlined it with the rocks, but made it look quite natural. Added some flowers in there just to brighten it up a bit, make it a bit more cottagey. Really pretty. I love sizing flowers up. You can create a flower bed literally from the same flowers, just making them bigger and smaller. I especially like doing it, and I don't think I put any sunflowers in this build. I love sunflowers. I don't know why. When I move into the house, I'm going to have to get some sunflowers, because that's something that I've just thought of. So I wanted to create a seance space, and honestly, that was the whole point of me messing about for so long, was trying to get the right seance point. I didn't really care about the rest of the house, if I'm honest. But downstairs, I wanted a seance room, and I wanted it to be a quirky shape to reflect the outside. I wanted the outside to be like inside, and then I thought, oh, there's not enough room downstairs. What am I going to do? Started making it upstairs. I was like, this is so wrong. I wanted to make it downstairs, and I was just like, trying everything that I possibly could. And then in the end, I wanted it in the front corner, but I had to do it in the back. I'm sure I put it in the back. I was like, I've got to do it upstairs. No, do it downstairs. Kept playing. I played for so long doing this, I think I had to have a little break and do something else for a bit because it was getting on my nerves. My next problem that I ran into was that the stairs, because it's a funky shape, they don't fit well, and stairs take up a lot of room, and they really need to build. They need to have some spiral staircases. We used to have spiral staircases, and I don't know why we don't now, because these stairs, I know we've got the ladders, but sometimes you just want stairs. The ladders are lovely. I love them for like the tiny builds, micro builds. I'm absolutely down for them. Or like little nooks where you've got like a balcony on the second floor, and in one of my builds there's like a bit of a turret that goes higher. Just putting that in there and it being like a kid's bedroom, just really fun. But yeah, really struggles. In the end though, the stairs actually become my design for the house. Like everything just come together as soon as I put the stairs in. So note to self, when doing a build your outside first thing, add your stairs. You can work around them. They're a big thing in your build, aren't they? So I suppose it makes more sense. So then that enabled me to create this nook for the seance table. So it was a lot. Once I'd got my layout down, I was away. But it was this initial like awkwardness. So what I had to do, because at the back I'd created more of a square and at the front I'd made more of that hexagon shape, I just kept one corner square, used the back, cut that corner off, made it more of a diagonal and put one of those windows in, because that's what I wanted for my seance room. So upstairs I was then like, have I got room for a toilet? Have I? Does it matter? Do I need one? I think we need more colours. More colours in the swatches as well, especially for stones and wood. The newer packs like Eco Living, the wood, they've got more swatches in those, but they only seem to sort of marry up with their own wood pieces. You can't sort of intermix them because they look a lot. I wanted to see what sort of colours I could possibly play with the purple, with it not being too girly. I wanted it more mystical, but obviously she is a young girl, and this is how possibly her grandmother would have decorated it, and she would have been like, this is so cool, keep it the way that it is. I'm getting way ahead of myself because she's only just moved into her first house. These new curtains that have been created in the Paranormal pack are amazing. The ones that are like a half curtain with a bead. I do love a curtain that's sort of like pushed to the side, as you can tell in my builds. I was textiles. I don't know whether they're my friend or my enemy. I'm a bit of a perfectionist when it comes to anything like this. I want it to be perfect. I've got a vision, and I've got to get it right. So this bed, I'm trying to think what pack it comes from, and I don't know, but it's one of my favourite beds. Lots of colours. There's like natural colours as well. This is one of the new side tables from this pack. Lots of lovely swatches for that as well. Yeah, that hanging basket, that's from Paranormal. All these you can see at the top, so there's that owl, the picture frame, the hand, and I think there's a couple of vases as well. I thought incense, everybody has incense, especially witchy people. I just had to, even a lot of my builds I play a lot and I annoy myself and then I get completely distracted by something. As you can tell. This was the moment that I was like, oh, actually, I'm going to need a bathroom. And this is like, uh-oh, what am I going to do? In the end, I actually really enjoyed the bathroom. I say like I enjoy it. I was proud. I love putting these corner baths in, and I thought, do you know what? I need to come out of my comfort zone. So I put the winged bath in. Did I? No, I changed my mind. I put it's like the rustic bath. I want to say it's from Pets, but I'm not sure. I think it is, how weird. I like creating these little, like, sinky units and have, like, a focus to the bathroom. I wanted it to look rustic and mystical and cottagey, but funky and a little bit modern. Somewhere that I would want to live. And this is somewhere I would want to live. There was a point as well. I realised that it was called Tiny Starter Home, Tiny Home Starter, and then I was like, what? So later on, I do change the name of the plot, but added tiles. I don't use this swatch very often either for the bathroom. These are new pictures from the Paranormal pack. I wanted obviously everything to match, so everything then was that copper tone in the bathroom. Just added a few accessories. I think like you can build a basic home, but it's the accessories that sort of make it look like it's lived in. It can look very simmy when there's just like a toilet, a bath, a sink. It needs to have all these accents. I knew that I needed some storage space and I just didn't know what to do. So I just added a little cabinet in there. Back to the bedroom because I get bored. I've obviously looked at the bedroom like, you need some work. Yeah, I'll get back to that at some point. I made the balcony a little bit bigger, I think. Yeah, I pulled it out. I was like, you can't use a balcony that's only 1 square. So I pulled it out and created a bit of like an under porch at the front, which again, I think it totally adds to that cottagey feel. And like any porch, you need seating to sit outside and enjoy life. Again, it's just me adding more accessories, more playing. Like, know what you want. Know what you want. Yeah, I'll just use the they don't click in the windows. They should do that as a norm. They need to work on doing the whole putting something in the window. What you actually have to do is put it towards the window and then you press control, I want to say control 9 and control 0, and that will heighten and lower the item. You can't lower it than when it's naturally lowered to, and if something is on a surface already, you can't do it. If you want to put anything on a surface, you have to sort of like put it on the surface that's pretend there, and then higher it up and then put your surface in afterwards. It's a whole thing. So I think at some point I must have ran out of energy, had to go to bed, saved it, and then we're back now. I do use cheats. I use the unlock career items and move objects. Finally, we're getting the seance room in, the main goal of everything. And again, I played around with this. I wanted it to be right, and it just kept going wrong. In the end, I got it perfect. So you have to play. You just have to. I've started to create the kitchen then. I love these units. I think they're really magical, really pretty. They go with anything. Because the space was so small, I like to utilise it in such a way where it's almost multifunctional. So with the kitchens, I do tend to put more of an island in as the opposite counter space, so that there's some room there to sit and eat. When there's a small space like that, you don't want to have a dining table. There isn't the room. It doesn't look good, so it has to be an island. I like to put all the countertops in first and then sort of have a look at the space and see where I can put an oven, where I can put a sink. They always do that triangle thing, don't they, where your sink, fridge and cooker have to be in a triangle. That's like the fundamentals of a kitchen, apparently. You must have smoke alarms. And now in the seasons pack, you have got a thermostat, and you can change that and make your house toasty, which is nice. That desk that I put in the bedroom, that is also a piece. The Dreamcatcher is a piece as well of the Paranormal pack. I think I'm just analysing at the moment, like what's where and what it needs, if there's any empty spaces. And then I think at that point I must have used the move objects cheat, because I was like, it won't fit. Onto a little reading nook. I thought that was quite cute. The shelf is part of the Paranormal pack. It's quite big. I like it, but it's really big and you can't put anything on it. So very, very frustrating. It's pretty, they could have done better. So instead I used something that fit the space a little bit more, and you can put items on it and make it work in the space, whereas the other bookshelf you just couldn't. The lighting, I just thought I wanted something old looking but nice looking. That's one of my favourite pictures. I'm sure that's in the base game. The moon phases. And now starting to think about who would be living here. What would they be doing? And Tiffany Breeze, she's happy-go-lucky, creative, smart, wants the best for herself, living her best life situation. And I'm here for it. I would say altogether that the builds probably take me a good sort of, I'd say a good day, like a good 6 hours. I won't necessarily do it in one sitting, but I would say like 6, 8, 10 hours. I've been on a build before for the sparked challenges. I've been on one of them for a week, and I've literally spent a whole week just building. I have no life. And this was me trying to work out where I was going to put the TV. I was like, there's no flat walls. What am I going to do? Maybe I could put a TV on a half wall. And now you can see me using the control 9 and 0 there. I think the best way to create a room in an open plan space is to almost create a square. So by using the sofa, creating that square. That table is from the Paranormal pack. That is my favourite table. Oh, I just love it. I've added a little diary and a fish tank. I actually didn't realise how long this build with, and this is part 1. Stay tuned for part 2. See you all next time.